Jewish Israeli kids celebrating Halloween. Why do they celebrate it here in this very affluent neighborhood? It's because people that have a lot of money think religion is about buying stuff, dressing up their kids and sending them trick-or-treating. It is called the All Saints' Night. It's a Catholic holiday, much to do with the Catholic religion. You see, they dress up as ghosts. And why don't they celebrate these holidays in South Tel Aviv or in the poor areas of Israel? Because people there are connected to religion. They're connected to Judaism, and they teach their kids to pray. They teach them Friday night. They teach them to be what it's like to be Jewish and what is the meaning of being in Israel. What's the point of living in Israel when you assimilate and teach your kids to do things they do on Netflix that are absolutely meaningless, but is actually a Catholic tradition, pagan Catholic tradition? They celebrate Christmas, they celebrate Valentine's Day. Why don't they celebrate Jewish holidays? Because you have to believe in God. You have to believe in the Ten Commandments, and these are wealthy people that obviously don't believe in the Ten Commandments, otherwise they wouldn't be so wealthy. So, sorry to say that. Maybe you can be wealthy by hard work, but usually bend a few rules and then you become wealthy. So people that have absolutely nothing to pass down their kids, the kids have absolutely no idea why they live in Israel. They don't think it's very harmful, and they copy each other. So all these kids probably go to the same school, and they do it as a sort of community thing. But there's nothing wrong with celebrating things that, let's say, birthdays or community things, but celebrating a Catholic holiday because obviously you've abandoned the religion of your forefathers and foremothers is kind of sad, because the only excuse we have to living in the Middle East in this very turbulent, troubled world is because we're Jews. And if we abandon our religion and our traditions, we have nothing left. Absolutely no excuse for living here. I'm not saying everybody should be Orthodox Jews. I'm going to a liberal synagogue, progressive Judaism, but we do mark the people who bring their kids there do mark the Jewish traditions. We sing songs and we do it in our own way. We don't adopt foreign cultures. Some people, the Orthodox, think, yeah, we're not good enough. But at least the children that arrive at the progressive Judaism synagogue, they see what Judaism is. They pray. They have the prayers, they have the songs, and they don't practice Catholic holidays in the progressive Judaism. So not everybody can be Orthodox. You see these Jews on a Friday night. Not everybody can be a religious Jew. It's very hard. We have a lot of rules in Judaism. I think about 572, 632, I don't know, somewhere in the hundreds. However, what I wanted to say is it's very sad that people that have been persecuted for centuries for being Jews live in Israel and raise their kids, dress them up to practice Halloween because that's what they see on Netflix. So what they see on Netflix becomes their ideal. And then I think it's very hard then to explain to those kids what the hell we're doing in Israel. And then they vote for politicians that don't want it to be a Jewish state, but they want it to be a state that includes all the citizens. They practice all kinds of silly holidays that are basically American consumerism holidays, like Valentine, Christmas, Halloween. They're all part of a consumerism system for people that have absolutely no connection to the religion of their forefathers and foremothers. I think it's silly, sad. My own kids did do Halloween, but we lived in Europe. And in Europe, the holiday that started in Europe actually is now celebrated again in Europe because this is where the holiday originates from. It comes from Ireland. In Ireland, the pagans and the Catholics united to do this holiday where they go to cemeteries. And here, I don't know why they don't go to cemeteries. Jews are not allowed to go to cemeteries, by the way. They're not allowed to go to cemeteries for nonsense or for visiting. Like in Europe, you could just go there with your dog. Cemeteries are considered a holy place out off limits. And this is why the Jews survived a lot of plagues, because as you probably know, cemeteries contain a lot of dead bodies which are very unhealthy because of the Jewish separation and their hygiene rules and the fact they never went to never went to cemeteries to celebrate the dead. The Jews didn't have the Black Plague nearly as much as their neighbors who died by the millions. So getting back to the point I'm trying to make is that this is a very low point in Israeli culture where kids have nothing. They have absolutely no connection to Judaism. They find Judaism tedious and boring, which is where my idea is to encourage progressive Judaism, like the one I go to. Bet Daniel is a wonderful place. Yes, maybe not everybody keeps Shabbat, or anyone at all, but there is a connection to Judaism at least. And kids that maybe can't follow so many rules, they're not Orthodox, and they don't want so many rules, they can't even follow rules like crossing the street. At least in Bet Daniel, the progressive Judaism, the kids can have a taste of Judaism, which is egalitarian, and it's also, people can speak up about things and very open to discuss ideas. And yes, they've changed the text, they have their own text, and they welcome LGBT, they welcome people that want to become Jews and not a very, very strict, conversion. But there's something beautiful in allowing people to interpret Judaism in the way they do. Because what is the alternative? Celebrating a stupid Catholic holiday? Is that a good, so Orthodox people would say, yeah, it's better all or nothing. But I say no, not all or nothing. But maybe if in Israel, the Orthodox monopoly would allow progressive Judaism to have more of a say, then the children wouldn't dress up and go trick-or-treating and celebrate a Catholic pagan holiday, because they would find a connection. Because anybody who comes to Bet Daniel feels a really nice connection to the people. Men and women pray together. No, there's not this craziness about not using your phone. People are not so strict. And yes, it's nice to keep the Sabbath, but let's face it, not all of us are saints, and we can't keep all the rigid laws of Judaism. So instead of saying all or nothing, progressive Judaism allows people that are not living an Orthodox lifestyle to have a bit of Judaism where they feel they can connect to that place, where they feel a girl and a boy can both have a say. And there is not this deep discrimination, although I have to say that the rabbi in charge of Bet Daniel is usually the one giving the talks, not the woman. There is still male domination in that community as well, like in Buddhism and everywhere else. But still, Bet Daniel is a really good idea for all those Jews who don't feel connected to Judaism, who thinks it's tedious, that there's too many laws. This is why there's Reform Christianity. They didn't want the Catholic rules with all their rules. This is the irony, The Protestants broke away from the Catholic Church for this exact reason. There were too many laws, too many rules. They felt alienated from the Roman language. Here in Israel, everybody speaks the holy language, Hebrew. This is our language. But a lot of people feel alienated from the synagogues, the rigid laws, the tedious long prayers. And Bet Daniel brought in guitar, brought in music, and a style that's a bit alternative. I mean, I can go dressed like a hippie now. I have this long embroidered shirt and pants, and there's no problem, and sandals. You can dress however you want. You can bring your Christian friends. You can bring anybody. They're open to anybody. They don't have rigid laws. And the Orthodox Judaism is really scared of it. But they should realize that it's better to go to Bet Daniel, progressive Judaism, pray on Friday nights, be with our tradition, than to allow your kids to become part of this trend of consumerism, religion, like that they see on Netflix, Netflixism. It's better progressive Judaism than Netflix religion of Halloween and Valentine's and all these nonsense. So the problem is people really need to be a bit more flexible about allowing people to, practice a religion that is more progressive, more open. You could see their billboard. Really enjoy coming here. It's a very friendly atmosphere, and it's very inclusive. You have coffee. Yeah, it's not allowed maybe on Shabbat, but no, they have this. And it's really, really nice atmosphere, right? Nachon kef liot po? Yeah, she's happy. People are upstairs now. I'm not going to take a picture. But there's art. There is afterwards a kiddush. So this is definitely a great alternative to celebrating Netflixism.